Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia, Makina's route. In the last episode, Yuuji accepted the money from Makina and proceeded to become her father and guardian and bodyguard. The other classmates didn't exactly take well to this, except for Amane, who sort of had figured that this would happen, while she was still hoping to become Yuuji's girlfriend. Now, Yuuji has two jobs and needs to tell the one job about the other. Sorry, I don't understand what you're telling me in the slightest. Why does everyone react the exact same way to this news? Maybe it's because your news is completely and utterly absurd. Ever think of that? As soon as lunchtime rolled around, I headed up to the rooftop, cell phone in hand. I'm currently enjoying a pleasant conversation with shaggy-headed Julia. That is Qa'Rajh, also known as JB. In the old days, senior officers in the Navy were apparently required to receive permission from the Bureau of Personnel before entering into marriage. Given their access to various secrets, even their partners were subject to scrutiny. As a dog picked up by Akasaka and kept in the custody of Ichigaya, my situation is very similar. Making intimate friends requires approval from above. Might sound a bit ridiculous, but given that incident 3 years ago where an agent's foreign wife supposedly helped leak info from inside Ichigaya, it's hard to laugh off as mere paranoia. Had that blunder occurred in America, death sentences for treason would have been out of the question. Even in Japan, the so-called spy heaven, they've gotten much more cautious about potential honey traps since then. So, what are you saying? You want to adopt Irisu Makina as your foster daughter? Not exactly. I just promised her I'd become her father, that's all. What the heck? So it's just a verbal agreement then? Well, yes, but I figured I should report it now to avoid potential headaches later. It's not like you're marrying the girl. I'm not going to waste my time complaining about every silly little idea you get in your head. Or so I'd like to say, but since we're talking about Irisu Makina here, I suppose it's not quite that easy. What's that supposed to mean? It wasn't exactly a riddle. We're talking about the Irisu here, a long-standing political clan deeply influenced in domestic and international affairs, to say nothing of their financial clout. And she's the eldest daughter of the head family. Normally there'd be serious misgivings over allowing you two to even attend the same school, but you're currently on the reserve, and for all intents and purposes, Irisu Makina has been disowned by the head family. Also, it's not like they are completely unconnected to our organization, so... Really? What kind of relationship do we have? What was it again? Hold on a second. I can hear the muffled sound of JB tapping away at her keyboard on the other end of the call. Irisu Makina's father, Irisu Masataka, seems to have been an accountant in the Ministry of Defense Administrative Department, although he died in an accident of some sort a few years ago. An accidental death? On paper, at least. It seems more like he was murdered after getting mixed up in something, but... Oh, whoa, what's this now? What's wrong? Ooh, this looks a little more messy than I thought. So that's the sort of accidental death we're talking about. What are you talking about? Mind giving a coherent explanation? Know how you'd pass away in an accident if you ever turned against your country? This is a similar case. In other words, it was decided that Mr. Irisu Masataka's continued existence posed a disadvantage to the national interest. Were we the one who disposed of him? No, doesn't look that way. I see. If Makina's father has been dealt with by my colleagues, I'm not sure how I would have been able to face the girl. Hey, JB, mind putting all that material you've got on this together and sending it over to me? Not happening. This is still restricted information. Even verbally communicating it like this is technically a breach of duty. I understand that I'm asking the unreasonable, but is there any way you can bend the rules on this one? Come on, what are you going to do with this anyway? I'll decide once I have it. Can you help me out, JB? Please, Julia. Oh, geez, fine, I'll give you what you want, but there's a limit to what I can provide, so kindly moderate your expectations. Understood. I'm in your debt. That was a slow pan. Phew. I'd more or less figured out that Makina came from a wealthy family, and I was aware that her father passed away some time ago. But I certainly didn't expect her to be part of a clan so deeply involved with national affairs, much less connected to us, however indirectly. On top of it all, Makina is the eldest daughter of the head family, but somehow ended up being cast out. The information is far too fragmentary for me to even speculate, but there must be some complex circumstances involved. Ah, there you are, Papa. Jeez, I was looking all over for you. What were you doing up here? I was waiting so we could eat our lunches together. Oh, sorry. Even as I'm sliding the cell phone back into my shirt pocket, I drop my other hand onto my indignant young friend's head. I was just doing a little thinking. Something on your mind? No, nothing serious. I mean, I wouldn't say this. Are you worrying about this stuff with me? Haha, I said it's nothing. You're sensitive about the weirdest things sometimes, Makina. I proceed to muss the girl's hair around vigorously. Oh. Not that anything as dramatic as you seem to think, but I'll admit to be worrying about our new arrangement. I told you I'd become your father, but I don't have the first clue about what that specifically involves. Pretty pathetic, right? I've been thinking about it constantly. Don't worry, it's not like I want you to go out of the way to do anything special. But can you promise me just one thing? What's that? Don't die. No can do. Everyone who lives eventually dies. Well, yeah, I guess, but okay then. How about you kill me first? Sorry, I don't follow the logic here. Well, I don't want to see you die, no matter what. I see. She doesn't want to see her father die. I guess that's only normal. All the more understandable in Makina's case given the loss of her actual father at a young age. It's natural for a child to be dependent on her parents, and this death was abrupt, apparently violent. Although the circumstances were different, I lost my entire family early on, so I can imagine what it must have been like. The impact of losing your immediate family takes time to sink in. Immediately after the loss, you don't feel sorrow as much as numbness. As the day rolled past, you slowly come to realize that you're alone, that you'll never see them again. When you're finally able to process that fact, the fact that you're on your own from now on, emotions hit you like a truck. Anxiety so strong it's more like a terror, despair cold enough to leave you shivering, sorrow that turns your legs to jelly. Don't get any funny ideas about dying for me or whatnot. You got that? That's the last thing I need. Duly noted. More importantly, I'm freaking hungry. Let's chow down. I bought a box lunch. See? Check it. Oh. Indeed, there's a stylish little lunch basket dangling from Makina's stubby fist. What? Did you make this? Well... So it's Amada's work then? Well, I'm the one who made the sandwiches, you know, but the fries and coleslaw and stuff was Amada, yeah. Makina flips open the lid of her basket to demonstrate. One half is packed with sandwiches of some kind. Next to them are a variety of side dishes, fish fritters, french fries, carrots and cabbage, finely sliced ham and spiral-shaped macaroni garnished with coleslaw. What can I say? No matter what Amanda makes, she does a thorough job. Well, for what it's worth, I'm learning a little cooking from Amanda myself. By the way, Makina, tell me something. Yes, sir. What's this hemispherical yellow sandwich supposed to be? That's a melon bun sandwich, you know. I chopped a melon bun in half, and then sandwiched lots of fresh, fluffy white whipped cream and a goopy melon jam inside. Almost feels like you're eating dessert for the main course. I guarantee a satisfied stomach. I think this thing is pretty much the definition of a dessert, actually. Do we not have any conventional sandwiches? We had normal ones for breakfast, remember? So for lunch, I opted for the sweet approach. I see. So what, we're going to be eating this sugary abomination as the main course while munching on fish fritters and coleslaw? What kind of taste combination is that going to be? I mean, I'm usually pretty indifferent to such culinary concerns, but this is still making me a little dubious. Well, it's all the same once you got it in your stomach. Oh? Maybe you would prefer something a little less sugary, Papa? Well, it's not like I dislike sweet things on principle, but... Okay, then tomorrow I'll stuff yakisoba inside melon buns and bring forth the yakisoba melon bun. Don't go stuffing random things in there. I feel sorry for the melon buns. Oh, hold on a second. What about sandwiching melon buns inside melon buns for double melon bun? That's quite the, unconventional combination. Unbelievable! This idea is too freaking awesome! The birth of an infant terrible approaches, and a very breath of wind of reform blowing through a stagnant world of melon bun artistry. I'm terrified by my own talent. I see. Sounds as though a new day will soon be dawning on the melon bun industry. Laughing wryly despite myself, I give Makina's head another 2 firm pats for good measure. I have to say, this head is in perfect position to thump. The thought naturally brings a smile to my face. That startles me a little. I'm aware that I've been getting a little careless since I've come to the school. Sometimes I let down my guard without even noticing it. But then again, I suppose that's probably a more normal mode of existence than the alternative. Oh, what's wrong? Sorry, it's nothing. I'm hungry. Let's eat. Yeah! And so I ate lunch alone with Makina. It's only 10 minutes later that I discovered that this decision was somewhat thoughtless. When I returned to the classroom, empty picnic basket dangling from one hand while holding Makina's hand with the other, our classmates draw simultaneous sharp little breath of surprise. What's the matter? Just wondering why you're holding hands. Does a father need a reason to let his daughter along by the hand? Well, no, I mean, but what the heck? You fought tooth and nail when I wanted to hold hands. Did I? If you say so. Okay, is it just me, or is cluelessness this advanced indistinguishable from malice? Amanda shoots a look around the room of the corner of her eyes, but none of the others even glance over here, let alone voice their agreement. Sakaki is playing with the tufts of her long hair, focusing intently on every strand as if concerned about split ends. Elbows braced on her desk, Michiru rests her chin on her hands and stares out the window, blowing air tunelessly through her lips in what I can only assume is an attempt at whistling. Sachi, doing her best impression of a robot waiting for someone to input new orders, stays absolutely still, her eyes steadily fixed on an arbitrary point of empty space. I've seen this kind of thing before. Even at my previous school, there was a day when just this sort of hazy, difficult-to-describe atmosphere settled on the classroom. Right, this same-sex couple in the class had become public knowledge. The two of them got sick of hiding and came out to everyone at once in this big dramatic announcement. The classroom that afternoon was very much like this. But why now? I simply informed them of my new position as Makina's father, that's all, and the two of us are of the opposite gender, so our walking hand in hand shouldn't offend even the most delicate sexual sensibilities. Or maybe the sight of a man like me pulling a girl like Makina along by the hand is just too incongruous by itself. Well, yeah, I'm aware that I'm not exactly well suited for that role, but it's just Makina, right? What's all this then? If you people have something to say, why don't you just spit it out? Who says we do? It's all good, right? Nobody seems to have any complaints. Amanda seems to be directing this question to the rest of the classroom as much as me. With no rebuttal arrives, she turns her back on me with a disdainful little snort, then saunters back to her desk. I don't get it. Hey, Papa, can I take the seat next to you today? I don't really mind, I guess. Okay, then, I'm gonna get my textbooks. We've got all 6 students in a classroom that could accommodate 40. There's more than enough spare seats, and in practice everyone just goes where they feel like, so this change doesn't pose any logistical issues. However, why are you moving as well?
Why do you ask? Is there a problem with that?
Not really, but...
Come on, I'm always helping Makina study, you know.
I see. Alright, I guess I'll have to accept that in your case. However... You over there, why are you sliding up on us as well?
I'm sorry, are you referring to me?
Who else would I be talking to? Don't give me that this man insane face.
Well, I thought it would be obvious. As Makichan crunches her pencil lead so frequently, one might think, is this brat doing it on purpose at times? I'm in charge of provisioning her with fresh graphite. What of it?
What about that is obvious? I mean, well, I guess it's not really a problem, but... Okay, no, hold on a second. Hey you, Bottle Blunt, what's your deal? What are you supposed to be in charge of?
I'm not really, I mean, when Amanda sits in front of me, I can barely see the blackboard, alright? I just move because Amanda's so freaking huge, that's all.
Excuse me? Could you try not to call me huge to my face? Maybe you're just puny, ever think of that?
Shut up already! Hurry up and sit down, okay? I can't see the board. Oh? What's with you people? Why is everybody clumping up?
Well, because we all want to sit next to you, Makina.
No kidding? I'm a cool kid now, huh? Okay then, why doesn't that girl who endlessly obsessing over her bogus search for non-existent split ends join us too?
Well, she's a bit of a special case.
Hey, you over there, why don't you join us? Let's all study together.
Oh no.
Hey, I'm talking to you, the girl who suddenly stopped looking for split ends after being totally seen through. Don't ignore me, I'm talking to you.
Do you have something to say to me?
Whoa, you made me jump. Why do you always have to be so angry anyway?
Let me ask you a question in return. Why do you always have to make me angry?
Huh? What's wrong? You hungry?
People can get irritated for reasons other than an empty stomach.
Jeez, you're not making any sense whatsoever. What am I supposed to do with this girl?
That's my line. Okay, everybody, time for biology. Please take your seats. What's this? Why is everybody clustered up like that? Don't ask me. I've got no damn clue. Looks as though the core's Irisu-san, perhaps.
Core?
Good timing. I'll begin the lesson here. Today we are going to be learning about the formation and growth of mole colonies through a practical experiment. You're all going to need a culture medium, so please come up to the desk and take one. Comparing a classroom of dues-paying students to a writhing dish of smelly fungi. That's right up there with the officer who attempted to inspire his kamikaze squad by informing them that each and every one of you maggots looks like a sinking enemy ship to me on the sensitivity scale. In our enlightened modern age, where the use of abusive language to our pupil is seen as problematic, it might not have been the wisest rhetorical device. But the principal analogy proved quite clear and interesting. As it turned out, our Makina-centered colony maintains its strange internal tension throughout the rest of the school day. The moment the last bell finally rings, everyone heaves a long, weary sigh. Finally over, huh? Nope. Today was really tiring for some reason.
Nothing beats something sweet when you want out, you know. Come on, Papa, let's go get a snack before we head back to the dorm.
Well, let's see. I wouldn't particularly mind taking the girl out for a snack, but I'm not sure about letting her snarf pastries before dinner. I unconsciously look to Mommy for guidance. Where'd Amanda go?
Said she had some pressing business to attend to. Dashed right out after the bell.
Pressing business? Did you ask her what that involved?
Nah, didn't bother.
Come to think of it, I don't see any of the others either. Where'd they all go?
Dunno, guess it kinda looked like they were following Amane. Ran out right off right after him.
Strange. I think I detect a faint whiff of something like conspiracy in the air. Just my imagination.
Come on, ain't it obvious what this is about? They're being considerate. Don't want to get in the way of our date, you know.
Date?
Not familiar with the term? When a boy and a girl go out and eat tasty stuff together, we call it a date.
You are subtly mistaken, but the general thrust of the argument isn't wrong, and correcting you would be a pain in the ass. Yes, I'll let it slide.
Alrighty then, let's date it up. What do you want to eat, Papa?
Well, I had more than enough sugar at lunch. I'm in the mood for something better tuned to the subtle needs of the masculine snacker. Something that leaves a hint of sweetness, but doesn't overpower you with syrupy goop.
What the heck is that supposed to mean? Hell of a self-centered demand.
Let's see, Japanese pastry of some sort, I guess. Something with a red bean paste would be good. To be honest, I still tend to think of bean paste as slang for explosive powder packed inside grenades and landmines and such. But while playing a normal student, I'm far removed from all that. I may start gaining weight if this keeps up, but I suppose that shouldn't present a major impediment either. If I remember correctly, there's a taiyaki place in that food court by the station supermarket.
Ah, sounds good. I love them fish-shaped cakes. Let's go eat some.
Don't stuff your face too much, alright? Amane won't be pleased if you can't manage to eat dinner.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm thinking a ham and cheese model would hit the spot.
Ham and cheese? What? Where?
In the taiyaki. These days, even taiyaki changes dramatically with the passing of the eras, you know?
I see, but ham and cheese aren't exactly sweet, are they?
I suppose that's depending on the cheese. And you can get honey glazed ham, which is really good. So, it can be. Don't sweat the small stuff. Let's just get going, alright, yeah?
Sure, I guess.
I leave the classroom, tugged along by Mark. Watching this excited shrimp of a girl urging me to hurry. It almost feels like I'm walking on one of those hot-blooded little mutts that practically drag their owners toward the dog run out of sheer or enthusiasm. Come to think of it, my old pet dog had some of this restless energy as well. The corners of my mouth twitch up a little at the thought. But still.
Where'd Amane run off to anyway?
Meanwhile, in the Mihama Academy's second conference room. Why would they have these? I suppose that is to hide their heads, but it's a bit an unfortunate imagery. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, her name is Ani. I think you all know why we've gathered here today, but allow me to state for the record. Today's topic will be this thing with Kasami Yuuji and Irisu Makina. Seriously, what the hell? I will be your moderator, Su-O-A-Ne. My best regards. Well then, I'll begin with a specific explanation of the situation. It all began with Kasami Yuuji's abrupt transfer into a one-time Garden of Women, Mihama Academy. His sudden appearance in our lives initially left us confused and even dismayed. But as the day rolled past, we began to develop more positive feelings and a not insignificant interest in him as a member of the opposite sex. Soon enough, we were unconsciously following him with our eyes. Indeed, something resembling a faint love blossomed in our... Oh no, the principal is in on it too! Oh god! Might I interject for a moment? Yes, what seemed to be the matter, Comrade C. Suru? Well, why exactly was I called to this little meeting? Good question, Principal. What do you mean, you? What do you mean, why? You're the principal of this school, aren't you? Tisk, that's a no-no, Comrade M. Chiru. This conference is to be a frank exchange of opinions under the shield of ostensible anonymity. Please refrain from remarks that could be taken as identifying a fellow participant. What's the point of pretending? It's completely obvious. We Japanese can't do without our polite fictions. Also, visuals matter. Precisely because we're concealing our faces in this way, thoughts we might otherwise never express will slip easy out of our mouth, enabling a vigorous exchange of ideas. Well, groups of girls always have their stresses, so I'll admit that discussions of this sort may be necessary, but you just casually included yourself in the girl category, didn't you? Well, I'll overlook that for now. More importantly, Comrade Chizuru, I'm afraid we've already got more than enough dirt on you. Dirt? What are you talking about? Are you really prepared to discuss this here and now? Very courageous of you. Comrade K-Mine, please read the report in question for us. Certainly. Report number 512, T. Bana C. Suru. Personal record and results and background check. Investigator K. Mine SC. The following is a summary of my observations gathered over the last few days, primarily through tailing subject T. Bana C. Suru under cover of cleaning the school grounds. What? Day X of month Y, 0930 hours. While commuting to work in her private automobile, subject encountered Kasami Yuuji in the midst of his morning run. Subject proceeded to overtake him via car, linger in the staff parking lot until he returned and made contact. What's so strange about that? I happened to see him on the way over, so I waited to say hello. Big deal. According to my observations, while waiting for Kasami Yuuji's arrival, the subject used a vanity mirror on the back of her sun visor to arrange bangs and patch up her makeup. For a mere morning greeting to a pupil, it seems rather less than strictly necessary to reapply one's cosmetics, let alone spritzing expensive perfume onto both wrists and behind the ears to get into character as the adult woman. But perhaps I'm missing something. Could you explain the rationale for these actions? You saw that too? It would be wise not to underestimate our intelligence capabilities. Comrade K9 carries out her duties very thoroughly. When given a target, she'll investigate them down to the very brand of toilet paper they favor. The perfume was just, it's a standard etiquette before meeting someone. I have no ulterior motives. No ulterior motives, is it? Well then, can you explain the incident after school the same day? After school? According to this report, you pretended to be napping in your office, then waited in hope of a certain visitor would take advantage of the situation. That's not... Sometimes my constant word wears me down, alright? I'm just dozed off for a moment. I'm not so sure about that. Until the very moment he put his hand on your door, our observations indicate you were reviewing paperwork in perfectly ordinary fashion. God. Even when he called out your name, you kept on feigning sleep, expecting him to take you in his arms and carry you to the sofa. And once this, in fact, came to pass, you turned in your sleep and exposed your defenseless lips before his very eyes, waiting for a kiss, were you not? Absolutely. I'm an educator, you know. Please just give up, ma'am. The moment you set foot in this place, it was already too late. Oh, even Sakakis. Sakaki-san, don't tell me you... I'm S-Kaki-E-Y Miko, not Sakaki. As long as we maintain that pretense, this conversation need not affect our daily lives in any way. I don't believe it, even you. Why? Shouldn't I let Sachi get a look at your hard drive, huh? Chiro-sama, it's K-Man Eshi, not Sachi. How many times must I explain this before you understand? Just a slip of the tongue, total accident. I won't get the wrong again, okay? So, please don't read any more poems from my diary, please. Ah, poetry, is it? Perhaps you're referring to... In the summer night, you gently wrap your arms around my shoulders. You're exceptionally noisy, Chiro-sama. What is there to be ashamed of? Envisioning the passage of seasons in poetic style is a truly beautiful endeavor. I'm quite fond of this verse in particular. The heart of winter, I slip my hand inside his pocket. Wow! And once again, Mchiru is the bottom of every joke. Goodness, what's the matter? You're howling like a beast all of a sudden. Has your brain finally?
Don't say finally, you jerk! Don't look at me with eyes full of pity!
Comrade K-Mine, why don't you let the poor girl off the hook? She's pretty much sobbing at this point, so... Well, if you think that would be best, Ne-san...
You're the one to talk anyway. One little leaf falls on your head while you're cleaning. You go out of your way to have Yuuji take it off for you. And when his hand touches your ear, you go bright red and make this freaky little nymph sound. You were quivering. I saw the whole thing, Missy.
That's not...
And after he left, you put a hand on your chest and started sighing sweetly. Got a lot of nerve making fun of me, you slutty maid.
It was nothing more than a momentary loss of control. I just happened to get in a slightly funny mood, that's all. It's not as though I'm constantly thinking about him in that way. Now, let's all calm down a little, Comrade K-Mine. But I'm not a slutty maid. There's no point in trying to hide it now, you know. I mean, it's true. Sometimes after Yuuji touches you, well, you happen to get into a funny mood like that. Lean against a tree garden, clutching your broom and hyperventilating. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We're all comrades here, remember? Allow me to ask something of every participant in this conference. All of those who've made use of Kasami Yuuji in their personal fantasies, please raise your hands.
That's a little... Well, how about you? Are you saying you...
Oh, but of course, I'm particularly fond of the one where I struggle feebly as he jams it in my mouth, then he grabs me by my hair and starts thrusting.
Nasty, what kind of fantasy is that? Isn't that a little too nasty?
I'm a natural-born masochist, you see. I prefer the gentler approach.
How can I put this? Treating a mere
maid like me as sweetly as a princess. Yep, that definitely works for you, Comrade K-Mine. How about you, Enchiru? But I can guess. When you're with him, you can naturally express your real feelings, cuddling and fawning all over him, sugary sweet style.
Oh my god. What? Why do you know that? Did you look inside my head? Are you psychic?
Well, no. Somehow you just seem like the type. Totally sucks at flirting around guys, but secretly yearn for that sort of sappy lovebirds routine. I sort of get the feeling you'd go for dressing him up in matching clothes and all that.
Mwah! Okay, don't just start imagining me doing freaky stuff. What do you care anyway? I can fantasize whatever the heck I want, right?
Well, sure, of course you can. Incidentally, Comrade Kaki, I'm thinking you're pretty similar to me, right? I've got you down on the sort who pictures yourself being violently toyed with, getting all hot and bothered as you imagine someone messing you up until you can't even think straight. I doubt you have any intention of listening even if I attempt to deny it, do you? Yes, sure, that's right. I'm an irredeemable masochist. Are you satisfied now? Oh. Thought so. Kinda sucks we're so similar, but I guess it's all good. By the way, Comrade SC0, you're more on the masochist side of the equation yourself, yeah? Am I right, or am I right? How do you expect me to respond to that question? Oh, her mouth said the right things at first. This is wrong, you know, we really shouldn't. But in the end, she surrenders her body to her own pupil. That whole indulgent older woman thing, right? Is something the matter? You seem to be sweating for some strange reason. Oh. Ah, yes, worn down by his persistence, your voice takes on a sweet, high-pitched tone. You're hopeless, aren't you? All right, then, come here, but just this once. This is it, okay? The mere thought gets your motor running, does it? And what's more, after all that talk about just this once, when you offer him your slightly worn body, he indulges with such enthusiasm, such overjoyed moans of pleasure, that when he returns for more, you find yourself unable to firmly reject him. Ah, blissful surrender. Any of this sound familiar? Susan, I think it might be best to let the matter drop. True, it'd be pretty irritating if you start bawling after that. It's so cruel. Huh? But come to think of it, there aren't really any super sadists among us, are there? What about that shitty-looking JB woman? She seemed like the type. I don't know about that, it's just intuition, but I'm thinking she might be a bit of a masochist as well. On what grounds? Intuition, like I said. For some reason I can almost buy her still being a virgin at that age, if the cards fell wrong. Like overestimating her value as a woman, she let years slip right by waiting for her ideal man to descend from the sky, or something. I think I may vaguely understand what you're getting at. And I suppose you are rather the expert when it comes to acting the slut with no actual sexual experience whatsoever.
Yeah, that's right, you should talk, Big Arnie, but you're still a virgin yourself.
No biggie, I'm still young after all. Excuse me, but that's a rather naive way of thinking. Allow your youth to lull into a false sense of security and the big 30 will be closing in on you before you know it. What is it? Why are you all staring at me like that? I'm well aware of that this is exceptionally impolite question, but Comrade Sisu, you're still... Don't be ridiculous, do I look like a child? I took care of that a long time ago. Yes, of course I'm experienced. I mean, back when I was a student, I went at it fast and furious, barely had time to dry out. If anything, I got to the point where my classmates got kind of grossed out and started telling me to control myself a little. Maybe this is none of my business, but I really think you should try and fix that habit of frantically babbling every time you try to tell a lie.
Wait, that was a lie?
I love the clueless Michiru down here. Michiru, sorry. To be honest, I find it easier to imagine Comrade Chizuru sitting in the corner of the classroom during lunch with her head in a book pretending not to notice everyone going off to play volleyball. I can picture that pretty easily. Actually, I'm sort of getting déjà vu. Why are you looking at me? Take a careful look, Comrade Eskaki. It's you in 10 years. Could you please refrain from using the term it while pointing at me?
So what? Everyone here's a freaking virgin? What the heck, so pathetic?
I don't know who that is. So this is the fate of those who neglect womanly efforts while still young. I believe I've been scared straight.
This is too cruel, inhuman.
Now, I'm sure a good man will show up sooner or later. Most likely, probably, maybe.
I can do without encouragement that's that half-hearted.
Well, none of us are exactly in a position to criticize having lost Kasami-san to Maki-chan.
Wow, that's right, we got so derailed that I completely forgot about that.
Wasn't discussing that supposed to be the entire point of this meeting? Yeah, well, I guess nobody really wants to deal with it, so we might have been avoiding the topic.
I mean, what the heck's even going on? The guy suddenly declares himself a father? Like what?
Well, come on, we all know how Makina is by this point. I can only really guess what it's like to be the first daughter of a family that runs some huge saibatsu, but Comrade Eskaki, you can probably understand a little, right? I suppose I can understand that it isn't always a bed of roses, at least. From what Makina tells me, her mother didn't spend much time caring for him. So I got this idea that I could sort of become a replacement bomb for her, but as I remember the story, Maki-chan was much closer to her father, and he died in an accident.
Okay, well, it's not like that's so unique. Plenty of people don't grow up in a happy family.
Yeah, I know. I do understand what you're saying, okay? But, you know, the girl asked Yuuji all by herself. She told him, I want you to be my dad, right to his face. You know how much courage that must have taken? Don't we have to respect that? Well, so you're saying Maki-chan needed Kasami-san that badly? And I think Yuuji might have accepted her because he sort of understood that. Comrade Chizuru, you've been rather quiet. What's your opinion on all this?
Where?
Excuse me, are you paying attention to the discussion?
Yes, of course, it's just since I'm familiar with all your personal circumstances in detail, simply listening to this conversation got me a little on edge.
Well then, taking all of those circumstances into account, what are your thoughts? Let's see. To be certain, every student in this school has their own complex problems to bear.
Each and every one of you have your hands full with your own difficulties and can't always devote much energy to worrying about someone else's unhappiness. I don't think that reflects any cold-heartedness on your part. Given such circumstances, the mere fact that you've gathered on your own initiative to consider what's best for your friends makes me happy. Even if this discussion leads us to conclude the relationship is unacceptable, even if we decide to try and force them to separate, that would be a legitimate decision in its own right. If that's the conclusion you reach after an earnest exchange of opinions, I won't say a thing. Respecting student autonomy sounds nice in theory, but that strikes me as a little too hands-off. Your problems aren't simple enough to be resolved by merely tying you down. You wouldn't be in a school like this if they were. Surely you remember why this receptacle was constructed in the first place. I'm sorry, I went too far. It's alright. So what are we going to do about those two? Are we accepting this or not? Perhaps it would be best to leave that aside until we understand what we are accepting. For the moment, I think, seriously, what the hell may be the more relevant question. Yeah, look, it seems everybody's misunderstanding things, but this really is nothing but a father-daughter make-believe game, you know. But come on, those two came back to the classroom hand in hand, you know. Even if it's make-believe, that's less father-daughter and more boyfriend-girlfriend, don't you think? In addition, Makichan's statement this morning to wit, "He is my man now, so keep your stinking paws off him," is rather weighing on my mind. Kasami-san didn't exactly refute that declaration either. Well, I think she was just saying that for the heck of it, to be honest. Perhaps so, but I was still rather surprised to see Kasami-san holding hands with a girl. I would have assumed he was the type to dislike such clingy physical contact. Then again, perhaps the most plausible scenario involves the curt initial rejection. Why the hell would I embarrass myself like that, or something of the sort? After observing Maki-chan droop in disappointment, this gives way to self-justifying excuses along the lines of "just this once, punk," even as he quietly stretches out his hand for hers. As if we didn't have enough tsundere to go around already. Comrade Eskagi, do you have any thoughts? None in particular. As long as they're acting on the basis of mutual consent, they can do whatever they please. It has nothing to do with me. Quite the sulky attitude. Perhaps you're thinking stalking off in a huff once or twice may inspire Kasami-san to worry about you? What? You're always trying to attract his attention with that needy woman act, Eskaki-san. It's not exactly sporting. Excuse me? Am I imagining things, or has your criticism of me gotten extremely harsh lately? I do apologize. A certain frank individual instructed me to express my thoughts and opinions more openly, so... Huh? Who is this Frank guy? What's with the glare? If you got something to say, then say it to my face. Frankly, you have the intelligence of a macaque. Okay! This conversation is going nowhere fast. Are you girls always engaging in this sort of discussion? Well, only when we decide a group debate is necessary, but every once in a while. Okay, here's my question. Why the heck did Yuuji say yes to that crazy request of become my dad in the first place? Well, like I said before, I bet he decided Makina really needed someone to play that role. And Yuji's fundamentally pretty soft on younger girls, so... Huh? Really? Back me up, Comrade K-Mine. Have you ever noticed that Yuji treats you a little gentler than the rest of us? Well, yes. I know, right? Think about it. The girls usually casually pats on the heads are all younger than him, right? What? Come to think of it, he's never done that to me. Well, I think it's more that you'd probably snarl at him even if you tried. I would not. I wouldn't get angry or anything. Really? Then why don't you let him know? If you want to stroke my head, I'll allow it. I won't get mad or anything. But don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I want you to pet me or anything. Or something like that. What? Are you a genius? I've been getting that a lot lately. Well, whatever. Make a note, why don't you? Yeah, good stuff. Arne-san, are you saying Kasami-san hasn't petted your head? Yeah, not even once.
Don't know, maybe it's my head a little awkward to pat. It's kind of high up compared to everybody else. But there was that one time where I tried to surprise him with a sneak hug from behind and he spun around and grabbed me by the crown of the head. That sounds less like a pat on the head and more like an iron claw attack. How about you, Comrade Eskagi? Never had your head patted either? No, I have not. I don't recall the two of us being that intimate in the first place. Well, Waimiko probably seemed like an even riskier choice than me, right? Kind of feels like she'd just sit there not reacting at all. Maybe to give you an ice cold, what do you think you're doing for your troubles? I suppose I can't deny that. As a general rule, I don't particularly enjoy people touching my head. I'm not sure if it's really okay for me to be asking this, but how about you, Comrade Cicero? Ever had Yuuji pet you on the head? Don't be ridiculous, of course not. In this case, I would imagine the problem is indeed a simple matter of age. What? Well, yeah, an over-the-hill lady panting like a lapdog while her student strokes her head would be a little creepy. Anasan, your choice of words was unfortunate. Please retract and revise to middle-aged woman. Middle-aged. I'm rather reluctant to apply the term aging, so I believe that would be roughly appropriate, yes? For some reason I'm feeling pain deep in my chest. Perimenopausal symptoms, perhaps. Please do take care of yourself. Wah! There she goes at last. Why is it that we can't seem to stay on topic for more than 30 seconds at a time? Where were we again? To summarize, we were discussing Kasami Yuji's suspected pedophilic tendencies. Okay. I'm sorry, how exactly did you summarize the discussion to arrive at that conclusion? Come on, think about it. We're talking about me here, you know? Excuse me? I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Not only do I have one hell of a body with curves and all in the right places, I'm ultra considerate, slightly slutty big sister type, you know? Pretty much the dream woman for a boy around Yuji's age. Any red-blooded guy's gonna jump me first and think later, right? And what do I get instead? Every time I tried slightly proactive approach, he's all, "You're annoying woman," or "It's too damn hot for this," you know? What the heck is up with that? My pride as a woman is in tatters. Well, that creepy woman has ludicrously big breasts too, right? Maybe he's just sick of them by now. Maybe smaller breasts just are more to his taste after all. Comrade Sakaki, how many centimeters is your bust again? I'm sorry, but why exactly would I answer that question? Comrade Mchiro has a pretty decent chest compared to Makina, but still a bit on the small side, right? I'm normal, totally normal. Why is this turning into a discussion of breast sizes anyway? Okay then, I'm going to quit messing around and get straight to the heart of the matter. Alright with everyone? Sure. Those opposed to Makina and Yuuji's relationship, please raise your hands. So that's none in opposition then. Okay, how many in favor? I approve personally. Are you really okay with this, Annie? Well, I won't lie, it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but this is what Yuuji decided, so there's no point in being stubborn about it, is there? And more importantly, I kinda believe I can trust him to take care of Makina, you know? So yeah, I'm in favor. I too want Makina-chan to be happy. I approve as well. As I believe I said, my approval or disapproval is irrelevant. They can do whatever they please, it's nobody's business but their own. But if you have to answer one way or the other, I suppose I approve. I see. Thanks, everyone. Excuse me? I haven't given my approval yet, for your information. So you're opposed then? I didn't say that, did I? It's just, I'm not, Well, Mchiro-sama is the sort who develops a burning urge to say no the moment everyone else says yes, so... Hey, that's not true. Don't go making me the bad guy, okay? Then you approve? Yeah. Fine, whatever. I won't root for them or anything, but allow the relationship. That's what you want, right? I wasn't trying to force you or anything. We're just checking how everyone wants to handle this. That said, I'm grateful for the support. given my position, I can't exactly register strong support for such things, but so long as they maintain a basic standard of temperance, I'll offer my personal approval for this relationship.
Temperance? What's that mean?
In this context, moderation and self-restraint, hewing to a common sense.
Ah, so like, use contraception or whatever.
A rather extreme interpretation. Oh, no need to worry on that front. I put a condom in Makina's purse a while ago. Told her to make sure her partner uses it when the time comes. That's extremely, scrupulous of you. Perhaps even a little too scrupulous? Isn't that par for the course?
What kind of course are you playing on?
That's weird. I mean, my mom taught me this stuff when I turned 14. That strikes me as a little on the early side. Well, given that the legal age in Japan is 13, it actually isn't. Well, at 14 I was already as tall as I am today. And there was this time when a weird guy started following me on the back way from school.
Sounds like you had a pretty hard road through life yourself. Everything okay?
Tall girls all get a little bit of that, you know. For the time being, it seems as though the group has reached something of a consensus. Guess so. Don't get in their way. Don't snarl at them. Watch over them warmly. That sound about right? If that'll allow us to bring this ridiculous conference to a hasty conclusion, you have my full agreement. I have no objection either.
Wait. What are you saying exactly? Hey, don't give me this individual really is an utter idiot Clarence Psy combo. I just want to be sure.
Okay, here's the deal. Nothing's really going to change.
What?
We'll keep going just like we did before, but we're gonna try to be ready for the possibility of dramatic changes in Makina and Yuuji's relationship. That's all. That's all it is.
We had this whole big council just to decide that?
Well, I guess the whole debate about the relationship was more a window dressing than anything else. The real point of this talk was to brace ourselves for what might be coming. Anyway, Michiru, no need to think too hard about this. You might strain something. Just be ready to shrug your shoulders and say, well, I guess that's how it goes, if those two end up getting married or whatever.
Wait, what? They're getting married?
Look, I'm just saying not to freak out if that does happen someday. Nobody knows how things will end up.
Well, whatever. I can't stand drama anyway. Just need to roll with it, right?
That's how it is. Well then, today's conference has officially concluded. I thank you all for your participation. Right, well that got a bit longer than I intended, but we'll see what Makina wants in the next episode. So, until then, take care.